Hi guys! Before we get started with today's episode, I wanted to show you something I thought was pretty neat. A friend of mine told me there's a photo of me in a San Francisco magazine. So I have it right here. This is the February edition of the Nob Hill Gazette. And on page 12, there's a picture of yours truly right here. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. All right. Anyway, so let's get started with today's episode. Today's episode is kind of a fun one. It's going to be about Mahjong terminology and slang. So these videos are mainly in English, but since this channel focuses on Hong Kong/Cantonese Mahjong, some of the terms will have more meaning in Cantonese, but I'll do my best to transliterate. So I'll just go over the basic ones now and then jump over to the more interesting ones right after. The basic ones are part of the rules, so you might be familiar with them already. The first one, when you win, you can just say Mahjong or Sikla, which is Cantonese for winning, but literally translates to eat, or more technically, ate, since the final particle changes it to past tense. However, you can also just say sik, or you might hear some people say sik wu, which is eat a win. Either way, once you hear sik, it probably means someone won the hand. Oh, and while on the topic of hands, I realize I should mention this. One hand is not the same as one round, and definitely not the same as one game of Mahjong. One standard game consists of 4 rounds, and one for each of the winds, east, south, west, and north. One round consists of at least 4 hands, and one hand as well. One hand. Kind of like poker, a hand of poker. I'm bringing this up because I was volunteering at an event one night with lots of members, and they said everyone plays at least 2 rounds and gets up for others to play. So I thought, 2 rounds, that's a lot, especially for a place with a lot of people who are new to the game. Anyway, what they meant was 2 hands. So don't get those confused. Okay. Next we have points. Sometimes you might hear the term fan, which points and fan can be used interchangeably in Chinese or in Cantonese and Hong Kong style Mahjong, but don't use them interchangeably in some other forms of Asian Mahjong because they may not be the same. So the points are used to determine how many chips a hand is worth. These next groups you should know. Chao or Seong is claiming a discard for a suited sequence of 3. Pong is claiming a discard to form a triplet. A Kong, pronounced Gong in Cantonese, is claiming a 4th tile to make 4 of a kind. Pair or eyes are 2 identical tiles needed to form a completed hand. If someone is calling, means they are 1 tile away from winning. Honor tiles refers to the dragons and winds collectively. Okay, now let's get to the more fun ones. You might hear the term dry swimming. That means to play MJ, because, like this. Next, we have slang for some of the tiles. This one, the 1 of circles, can be called pizza or big cookie, Dai Bang. This one is the 2 of circles, which, all right, it's glasses and also big gazangas. Or sometimes maybe you might hear leung lap yeah. I'm not going to translate that into English because I don't want YouTube censors to block me. And then this one's self-explanatory, birdie. In case you were ever wondering why the 1 of bamboo is a bird, if you look closely, the sparrow bird is actually perched on a bamboo stick. This one, the 2 of bamboo, which is also known as nunchucks. This one has a couple of slang. First one can be called monkey nose, and the other one that's a little more crude is underwear. This one is also known as coffin. This one is a mirror. This one, it's slanted tile, tapai, but that one's hard to explain. Actually, I guess for the three of circles, the slanted could mean superstitiously creepy. That's about the best I can explain for it. And then one more. This one's an unofficial one. So the 8 of characters in Cantonese Batman. So our friends decided to call it Batman because it kind of sounded like it. But that's an unofficial slang. I don't think anyone else anywhere uses that. Next, we have this tool you might see in some sets. It's an indicator. It says Hei Zhong, which means start dealer. So it's an indicator that's placed to the left of the first dealer with the arrow pointing rightwards to show which way the game goes. When the round wind indicator gets back to the first dealer again, then the round wind changes to the next one in order. So I would call this thing the first dealer indicator. Next we have station captain, Zamzheng, which is one who keeps taking a while to act every time it's their turn. Usually everyone is waiting on them to discard. After that is picking up the bones. This one's kind of crude, but it means to pick up the dice. Next we have Fazheng, which literally translates to flower tile style. But here, in this case, the Fa doesn't really refer to flower. It basically means unclear or fuzzy. So like an unclear style. If you say you're wearing the same pants, means you're doing the same suit as another player. Next is 3 mothers teaching a son. That's basically 3 women playing with 1 guy. Mahjong legs refers to Mahjong players, like a leg is a player in some sense of the word. Next one is the one doing the worst wins the final hand. Not much to explain there. It's the one who's doing the worst wins the final hand. So I know in part of the video you might have heard some scurrying and whining in the background. That's this guy. This is Dragon. Yes, he's a white dragon. The bakban. Or soap or mirror. But yeah, so he's the cause of all that background noise. Sorry about that. And then the last thing I want to talk about today is not really about today's topic, but it's still MJ related, is I created a online score sheet tracker. So instead of writing everything by hand on a notepad, you can just put everything on the device and then just have it automatically tally up the total for you. So for example, I loaded up the page already and I put in some names. I'll just make up some names. All right. Then if you can either use the default, this is the default that I set, or you can configure your own point assignments, but I'm just going to use the default to show you guys that as an example. And then you just that put in some and then it has the score, and then you just keep doing it for subsequent hands. And it just keeps tallying up. So yeah, I literally just created it very recently, so you guys can try it out and let me know what you think. So in case you wanted to check out my tool, there's a link to it in the description below. Alright, so as you can see, Mahjong isn't just a game of tiles, it's also a language all its own. From table talk slang that's been passed down for generations, these terms are part of what makes the Mahjong table such a lively and unique place. If you've played long enough, you probably heard or used quite a few of these yourself. If there's any Mahjong slang terms that you guys use, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear the ones used at your table. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your Mahjong friends. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.